Dozens of people were arrested after activists blocked the world's largest coal port in Australia to protest against climate inaction. Sheina Selim has the news.
Thousands of protesters aged between 15 to 97 years old risked arrest as they occupied the Newcastle port's shipping lane to stop coal exports from leaving the major seaport. The Port of Newcastle in New South Wales, Australia, is the country's most important terminal for coal shipments and touted as the largest coal port in the world. An estimated 3,000 people took part in the climate protest approved by the police. The activists paddled into the water using kayaks, surfboards and pontoons. They have occupied the channel for 30 hours to stop coal exports from leaving Newcastle for the entire weekend. Protesters claimed that the climate action prevented more than 500,000 tons of coal from leaving the country.
My name's Declan. I'm 18 years old. I live in Vientiane. We're currently blockading the world's biggest coal port in Newcastle on a bunch of kayaks and boats and pontoons because the government continues to ignore us and ignore the climate crisis and ignore what the scientists are saying, that we need to halt all fossil fuel production by 2030.
I'm Carol Bennett and I'm a knitting nana from Gloucester. I'm here in Newcastle with nanas from the Hunter Valley, Canberra, Sydney, Taree, all over the place, and we're here to support the people's blockade of the largest coal port in the world.
Rising Tide, the organizers of the weekend protests, called the act the biggest act of civil disobedience for the climate in Australia's history. On Monday, 104 people were arrested for refusing to leave the channel. 5 minors were arrested but eventually released. Among those detained was Reverend Alan Stewart, a church minister. Organizers claimed the 97-year-old was the oldest person ever arrested and charged in Australia.
Whatever happens to me doesn't matter, but what happens to the climate, because the climate is going to affect future generations, my grandchildren and great-grandchildren and so on, and as well as other people's. And I want them to have the same privileges that we had growing up.
Australia is the world's second biggest coal exporter behind Indonesia and has the third largest reserves of coal in the world. Reporting from Melbourne, this is Sheina Selim, SMNI News, Australia.